You're listening to The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. How's everybody doing? I hate Facebook, I really do. Sometimes I wish I was some big podcaster so I could just be like, everybody quit using Facebook and talk a bunch of shit and have them, I don't know. It's just annoying. So I never was big on Facebook when it came out. I had an account, but I never got on. I got on once a year, twice a year. I'd get on and kind of catch up with people. Oh, cool, like some stuff, comment, whatever, share a couple things, and then thinking I was going to get on again, I never would. And I miss those days, really. But I think I got my stuff turned up too loud. And I remember people would comment, be like, "Oh, whatever, dude. You're gonna make a comment." And they knew my shtick. I would just bounce and then never get on again for 6 months or something. And I didn't start getting on Facebook regularly until I moved here to the Philippines, because it's the best way to kind of stay in touch, even though you're not staying in touch. You just seeing what your friends are doing or family, and then you like it or whatever, and so you kind of know what's going on. It's catching up with somebody without having to actually talk to them, which is actually kind of nice for me, because I'm not a talkative person. Gosh, I kind of sound like, I think I am getting a cold. I can hear myself and just sound a little different, but um, so that's kind of about it. And then during I moved here, so I was on there a lot more. I'm seeing all the stuff. That's when I really started getting exposed to memes and everything. That's what I learned what a meme was. So I was late to the game. I didn't, and um, so I started sharing memes against Biden or whatever, and then I would get these warnings like, "Oh, this could be potentially," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, it was just the whole trying to silence the people on the right. It was real. They're trying to not let your voice be heard, and it pissed me off. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to use Facebook what it's for. So I got rid of everything personal, and I just posted every day. Biden sucks. Biden sucks. Just to kind of, is the only way I could think of to stick it to them. Even though they don't care. Mark, what's his face, Zuckerberg, sleeping on his mattress of gold, don't care. Um, but so it's just whatever. It was annoying, and then so I've slowly kind of um, tried to go back to just using Facebook what it's for, being nice and sharing, personal stuff and this and that. But I have another page which is for the podcast, because that's how it started. I got rid of my Facebook a couple of years ago, and then I started another one for the podcast, and that was my only one. And so I was it was kind of confusing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make my Facebook me, and then I'll just do a page for the podcast. And all I do, yeah, I'll share some memes occasionally. I think I don't get on there that much either, and it's not like it's a big. I don't think I have. It's not like it's detrimental to my podcast. Not that my podcast is detrimental at all, but all I did was share my episodes on Buzzsprout and the videos, and that's pretty much it. Well, it got suspended because it violated various whatever, and I'm like, what did it violate? And then so I contested it, and I'm like, it didn't do anything wrong, whatever, blah blah blah. And they're like, nope, it's done. So they totally deleted it, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? So it's not really a huge deal. I wasn't really getting that much traffic or interaction through it. So it's not like I'm like, oh my God, you know what I mean? But it's just like the principle of it. It really kind of pissed me off. So I quit getting on Facebook. And well, I this is what happened. So I detested it, or not detested, that's the wrong word. I contested it. And then I just didn't get on for a while. So I just got on just a little bit ago. And so I was kind of like checking on some stuff, whatever. And then I got on, and I'm like, well, the page is still there. What's going on? Why? Maybe it was, maybe it's fine. So I went to share something and it's like, nope, you can't do that. And then this page, so I looked at it and yeah, so they basically, um, you know, agreed to basically delete the account. I can still see it, but and it's still there. So I'm just like, what the hell was it? Like, why can't they just say exactly what it was? Not, oh, you violated some of our community. It's like it's such a broad generalization. They can, that's like the whole thing with like hate speech. Oh, we're gonna make hate speech laws, dude. That is a dangerous path right there because you could just anything could be hate speech, and that's how you get into the BS. So I mean, I just wanted to know what it was exactly, and if see, that's the kind of thing that makes me think that I didn't actually violate anything. It's just somebody that didn't like it reported it. It's the only thing I can think of. But I was thinking about it, and I had that one episode that said if you something and retarded was in the title. If you think voter ID is bad, you're retarded or something like that. So I'm kind of thinking maybe it was that. I guess I don't know, but it was just I shared that episode. I don't know. So I'm thinking about sharing. I don't know. See, I just like it doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? What am I? I'm not sticking it to anybody but myself. But it's just so frustrating and annoying. So it's like I was thinking like maybe I'll share the podcast on my personal one, but then that might get and then so I don't have Messenger, which I do use quite often. Um, I know there's some other stuff, but it's like my whole family, everybody here in the Philippines uses Messenger and Facebook. So like if I was gonna be like fuck Facebook and Messenger, I'm gonna use whatever the WhatsApp or something. I don't know, but I'm not gonna be able to talk to anybody. You know what I mean? So it's just I'm just shooting myself in the foot basically. So I don't know, but it's again, it's not like a big deal. It doesn't. It's not like that was my main. It's not hurting my bottom line or my what I don't know, but it's just the principle of it. It's just so fucking annoying, man. I hate Facebook. I really do. I hate Facebook. I want that to be the title. Facebook sucks and why you should drop it. Yeah, because here in the Philippines, dude, everything is Facebook. Everything is run through Facebook. If you have a business, if you want to get a phone number, you want to read whatever, it's all Facebook. It sucks. I hate it. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Anyway, all right, that's enough of me venting, I guess. Let's see. So some stuff has been going on. Um, when was my last? What was my last podcast? When and what? Let me see. Hold on. I'm kind of. Oh, some loud noise. Is that my kids or is that cats destroying crap? Okay. Oh, I did the fake 9/11, 9/11, 9/11 ambush. That was my. And before that, it was a Good Friday. So since then, um, we've had Easter and went to the beach. That's kind of the annual thing that they do here. So this was the third year. I don't think yeah, because when we first got here, we were kind of doing a little bit of American tradition, baskets, candy, and eggs, and all that kind of crap. But you can't put chocolate and eggs and hide it here because it melts. It's so damn hot. um, so we did that a couple times, but like I think I talked about in my last podcast is like I kind of like getting rid of that stupid rabbit chocolate crap and focus more on, you know, on Jesus being resurrected and all that stuff. Um, so we went to mass in the early morning, went to the beach, hung out, had a good time, came home, and then chilled. And then, so that was Sunday. So Monday, just a normal day. And then Tuesday, my son went to like a state kind of championship kind of program for tennis through his school. So he went and played. So we drove to another city, got a hotel, and he played one game, lost, and that was it. Like it was just, you only had one chance. Um, and I don't know, it kind of, I should, I don't know. So he likes playing pickleball more. He plays pickleball as well. And he was playing pickleball right before he went to go play this. And I think that kind of threw him off his game a little bit. Um, and he didn't go down there with everybody else because they went down there on Easter. And I'm like, no, he's not going down there on Easter. So then we drove him up, you know, the day of his tournament, but we left early in the morning. We got there, and then an hour or two later, he played. And I think that's what kind of hurt him. He didn't get to really warm up. He didn't get to really practice. The last anything he did was pickleball. So when he first was playing, it was like, oh my gosh, dude. I mean, like, I could play better than that, I think. And I suck. But towards the end, he was starting to kind of, okay, getting into his rhythm, but it was too late. Um, so, yeah, that kind of sucked. But he doesn't really like tennis. I mean, he does, but not as much. He'd rather play pickleball, but they don't have pickleball for this kind of thing. So I told him, I was like, dude, just stick with tennis. You can still play pickleball. And then if your school in the R1AA, which I don't remember what it stands for, I was like, if pickleball becomes a thing, then you can switch and just play only pickleball if you want. My other son, he loves playing everything. He's very athletic. He's pretty good at sports. Just, you know, like he's naturally gifted, I guess, with sports. He can, you know, he's really good at basketball, tennis, pickleball. Um, I remember when he was like 3, 4 or something, and my oldest son was doing a football tryout, and my son that I'm talking about, who's a gifted one, he wanted to do it so bad. He wanted to do the thing, and it was really cute and stuff. You know, he was running around. His hair was really long, so he's having to hold his hair out of his face as he does. You know, like, so he's always really been into that kind of stuff. He's a pain in the ass though. He's the middle child, and we butt heads all the time. He is like a clone physically of my dad, his grandpa. And so I don't know, we've always butted heads. Like, I don't know. Um I don't know why, but we just always have. But anyway, so that's kind of what's been going on. And then while we were gone during this thing, you know, I kind of kept tabs on what's, you know, and of course, you know, Trump, he gave like an ultimatum and taking out their bridges and their power plants, you know, if they don't come to the table and this and that and whatever. And of course, everybody's just like freaking out. Oh my God, he's gonna just nuke 90 million people. It's like, who said anything about nukes? What are you talking about, you know? And then a lot of the people I've noticed that were not that long ago all sucking the dick of Trump are now like, oh, Trump is horrible. Like, you kind of have like conservative, but like they're all nothing. They're not conservative. They're whatever that's gonna get them clicks and views, you know. So that, and I'm kind of glad I don't watch any of them. Like, I think I have a pretty good bullshit meter. Um, I've always said that. I've always felt that. I never really. Um, I'm trying to think of the names of these people, but like the female Megan Kelly, right? She was all, but now she's all hating on Trump. And then the guy that he was on InfoWars, Alex something, right? There was him, the Hodge twins for some reason. I used to watch kind of them, but I quit kind of following them. Alex. What the hell is his name? But there's a couple of them, right? And they all just turned on Trump like the same day. And it's just like, what the hell? What's going on? You know what I mean? So it just seems a little weird. And then, everybody's just going nuts. And it's like, they're fear mongers, though. They're trying to get the clicks and all this kind of crap. I wasn't worried about it. You know what I mean? I was like, a part of me, the asshole soldier in me was like, I hope they don't come to the table, man. Destroy those bridges, get rid of those power plants, right? And then, of course, Iran has a bunch of civilians hanging around the power plants because that's what they do. And was that reported on CNN? Probably not. And speaking of CNN reported a completely fake news about some 10-point plan with Trump they got from, and it was complete bullshit. And I think they retracted it, but they didn't say like, oh, our bad. They haven't said nothing. But see, again, that's just, dude, CNN for you, dude. CNN is complete trash. Like 100%, 110%. They suck. We were my wife's dad had to be admitted. He's okay, but just to make sure. So he got in his room and she turned on some news and it was CNN. I'm like, what are you doing? Why you got CNN on? She's like, well, I don't know. And so I put it on Fox. I'm like, it's not much better, but it is better. Yeah, see, and that's who a lot of people don't realize some of the crap, so they're not going to know. But with Paramount buying Warner Brothers, which CNN is a part of, CNN's going to be completely dismantled and purged or whatever, or it's just going to be completely removed and they're going to just start something new from it or something. I don't know. Because the name is just like horrible. So it's like, can they build it back? I kind of think they should just delete CNN and figure out a new, UNN. I don't know, something, just because they're just horrible, dude. But most people don't even know it and catch it, and it's just kind of annoying. It's like, I already talked about that. Yeah, see, 80, 90 million. But then Trump wins, dude. And I guess it hasn't been completely smooth sailing, but the Juan de Vue, blah blah blah, whatever the thing is, the to pass through for the ships, I forget what it's called, it's open. It kind of had a rough opening, but it did open. Things are calming down. Gas prices are starting to go down. It went down 2 pesos here. Woo! And things are things are better because I'm sorry, but Trump is badass. He knows what he's doing. You have all these. There are some people that just like, and again, he touches women's pussies. They're just psycho mental. And then you have the people who are just trying to get clicks and shit like that, which I discussed earlier. It's just kind of annoying. But I was sitting there thinking about it, though. I was like, because Venezuela, right? That happened, 2 months ago? That was so badass. But it did kind of come out of nowhere. But it was needed. That dude's a crappy dictator. Although, left people were like, oh my God, why would they do that? Trump is such a dictator. But, so they removed him and okay. And then people are like, well, it didn't really do anything. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And then now we've all kind of forgotten. But I'm kind of thinking that it was part of, because they knew, Trump and the administration knew that the Iran thing was coming. And they needed a little bit of ammo to bring to the table when they do negotiating. So they do that. They do a couple. What was it? Oh, they already fucking took out Iran's nuclear, and then they kidnap what's his face in his sleep, in his pajamas. And then so when Trump and they knew that so then when Trump's like, hey, by this date and time, we're gonna blow up all your bridges and your power plants, Iran's like, shit. He's not joking because you look at the history, man. They know he's not fucking around. He's gonna do it. So, dude, Trump is, unless they get video of Trump actually molesting some kid on Epstein Island, Trump is going to be the best president of all time, at least in the last 100 years. You know what I mean? The shit he's been able to accomplish and do and fix and everything. Yeah, it's, because, they're trying to do everything with, like, the Epstein files or whatever. That's such, oh my God, I'm so tired of hearing that crap. Like, people like, oh, he's mentioned on there so many times. Yes, he's one of the most famous rich Americans, you know? So, yeah, they're going to talk about him. They're all trying to get, man, we got to get Trump. We got to get Trump somehow. We got to get Trump. We need him so we can, blackmail him or whatever. Of course they're going to talk about him. The thing is, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. If something was there, they would have released it. So, immediately it's like, he's not even on there. There's nothing on there. So shut up. Nobody said nothing about the Epstein files when Biden was in office. And then suddenly it's all bullshit, and it's just so annoying. And then you see the stupid people on the street that just, oh my God, yeah, why do you hate Trump? Well, he's so horrible. He's on the list. It's like the 10-point plan. They believe everything, man. I seriously think you need to get a voter ID card, and before you're able to vote, you have to take a little pop quiz, little quiz about American history, kind of what's going on, whatever this and that, just like 5 questions. And if you can't pass it, you don't get to vote. You know what I mean? They could use that to really manipulate the voting, but it's like, gosh, man, you just have this dumbest people voting when they don't know jack shit. And a lot of them are women. 15th Amendment. Sorry, but it's true, man. Gosh. All right, let's see what else is going on. Oh, I'm trying to scroll on my phone with the mouse. Not working. All right, so did you guys get this story? Did you guys hear this? A guy in Oregon, he, bought a bunch of giant plastic water containers, like the septic kind of containers or whatever, and he's been catching rainwater, and he uses that basically to live off of, not using the water. And the state basically arrested him because he didn't take it down because it's theft of public property. Huh? You're catching rain. Rain is public property? He's paying, he's not, what? See, this is the liberal mindset, man. And believe me, Oregon is liberal as hell. Yeah, there's some conservatives out on the east in the woods and stuff like that, kind of, but, and it was probably this guy right here. He was probably one of them. And then, of course, the liberal government, they don't want people to get the idea, oh man, don't be catching rainwater, because then people are going to, this guy does it, then pretty soon, I don't know, it's just, and people want more government. It's like, you're stupid. Let's see. Oh man, I already talked about that, didn't I? I keep trying to scroll my phone. So I guess that's kind of, yeah, I went over everything already. All right. Yeah, so just more crap in the headlines, more government trying to control, more liberals wanting to vote for that control. You know what I mean? They want to be controlled. They don't want their fair share. They just want a share. I don't know. They want everybody to live in the same exact penthouse. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. People have free will. People want what others don't have, and people want to be douchebags. People are evil. So you can't have this utopia of, it's never going to work. And these people that believe it, it's like they think them, like, they're probably a good person and they have a good heart. They wouldn't do anything, but that doesn't mean that everyone else won't. It's just retarded. I'm so tired of these stupid left liberal garbage people. I don't know. Again, you cannot like Trump. You can, not like Republicans really, and maybe you don't like Trump and some of the stuff, but you can't. You got to give him what he gets, though. You know what I mean? And the fact that they don't. Oh man, he did that pretty good, or it just shows you that they can't. I don't know. It's just. Speaking of like the immigration, what's going on with that? They're still getting rid of people, right? ICE is still doing their thing. I haven't seen anything about the airports or just ICE. Maybe now they're doing it in peace. I don't know. Liberals got tired of like ICE out. Although there was this doctor who she was at the airport and she pretended to say, "Oh, thank you for being such racist assholes," and then she's got all kind of backlash and everything. And again, all her talking points are all the fake things that the media tries to tell you. All the stuff she said was been proven false. Oh, they're separating families, or actual citizens, and it's like, you know what? If you came here, I'm in the Philippines. If you came to America and you got your citizenship, and then you're a fucking douchebag and breaking laws, and you're like, oh, down with America or whatever, you should lose your citizenship and get deported. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. These people are just so, in the end, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But it's just, how can people be so dumb? I just don't get it. What is it? It's got to be social media. It is. Smartphones and social media. People can't spell because their phone spells it for them. I mean, and I'm guilty of it. I was just trying to think of pneumonia. I was trying to spell pneumonia. And I was like, asking my son, I was like, how do you spell pneumonia? I know it starts with a P. And I was like, P, and brings it up. Oh, right there. Don't need to know how to spell. I got my smartphone. And yeah, it's convenient, but it's also just kind of annoying. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think. Facebook sucks. I hope it goes down. And Trump's awesome. All you liberals are a bunch of crybaby douchebags. And thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time. God bless. Even though I'm an asshole, God bless. All right. Bye.
Say something for the podcast. Tell the people what you feel.